this weekend, really kind of like the game in the SEC, Jim, is Alabama-Arkansas. A couple of ranked teams, obviously, Alabama, but Arkansas in there. And, I know Alabama's a big favorite. It's in Tuscaloosa. But when you look at this, how much of a chance do you give Arkansas?
Hey, man, Alabama was a big favorite in College Station, and they lost to Texas A&M.
Sure.
Alabama's always a big favorite, man. So when they lose, it's usually their big favorite. I give Arkansas a chance, mainly because they're physical and they can run the ball. And, Alabama 2009 to 2013-14, they could line it up in the trenches with anybody in America and some NFL teams, I thought, and could hold their own. Nobody could push Alabama around. That's not the case anymore. Their changing philosophy on defense has made it to where when a team gets into the square with them and gets into a fist fight with them, they don't always win that game. They have some issues at times with run gaps and being in the right place and manning up and stopping a physical running team. And I think that's what Arkansas is going to try to do. They're going to try to, get them close to the do some gut punches and do it sort of like they did to Texas. And Arkansas fans hope it turns out the same way. So it's a challenging game for me. I think anything with Alabama's defense, the way it has been inconsistent, is on the table. LSU was physical with them. I would say LSU was more physical in that game than Alabama was. And they hung around and played in Tuscaloosa with a chance to win the game twice, maybe three times late. So I could see it if Alabama is not scorching the earth with their offense like they've done in recent years, that this could be a game a lot like the LSU game. Now, if Alabama has some success running the football early on and opens up that passing game, it could get out of hand pretty quick. But that's where Alabama is now with the latest injury to Roydell Williams. Alabama really is down to Brian Robinson at running back, and then a lot of guys that are coming off injuries or haven't played at running back. So their depth at running back is scary thin right now, to where they go from a very, probably C+ running game to no running game at all and just slinging it around the yard with Bryce Young. So they need some running game, and they're down to just one running back. So this one could be interesting to me. No comfort level at all from this guy.
I feel the same way. I'm just like you, Jim. It's like I expect Alabama to win. I just don't expect it to be beautiful and easy and a breeze, But, and I'll tell you this, too. We saw Arkansas in person 2 weeks ago in Fayetteville, and a healthy Treylon Burks, like he'd been banged up, but he missed the week before and got fully healthy. And they based their entire offensive plan against Mississippi State around him. Like, we all talk about KJ Jefferson and the run game and the offensive line, and they are physical, but he was one of, I think, the best players, football players we've seen all year long, and they moved him all over the place. And I know this, it's because it's Alabama, it's going to be a tape game for him, like for NFL evaluators. Right. And so Alabama fans are going to see, I'm telling you, one of the best individual players they've seen all year in that Arkansas receiver, Treylon Burks.
And he's one of those guys, Matt, and you've seen players like this, that you could be in perfect coverage. You've done your job exactly the way you're coached. You could not do it any better, and he still makes the play on you. He's one of those kind of guys. And sometimes he does it with two guys on him. And those are the kind of guys that you just sort of tip your hat and end up on you got moss, That's the kind of guy that he can beat you. And you have that kind of guy out there, and then a little bit of confusion with the secondary, that can lead to some headaches for this Alabama team, because you can count on it everywhere except in Starkville this year. Alabama's had some blown plays where there have been 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards, and you're like, where was the defender on that play? And they were totally confused and not in the right place. That didn't happen in Starkville. That was Alabama's best game. But every other time, there's at least one or two plays a game that you just go, man, there was not 11 guys on the same page on defense. There's one guy wide open.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, that game in Starkville was, the week after Alabama had lost to A&M, and I mean, Alabama was totally shot out of a cannon and ready to play, and there's a reason. It's just the latest example, isn't it, Jim, of Nick Saban is Nick Saban when he needs to be Nick Saban.
He is, but I thought you would get that again coming out of the bye week against LSU. Traditionally, out of that bye week against LSU, you get a really good Alabama performance, and that wasn't the case. They did not. They were not clicking offensively, and I wonder what they've got in store for Arkansas this week. You'll learn a lot about the character of that team this weekend, and whether or not they can challenge Georgia in Atlanta or not.
No doubt about it. Jim, it's great to talk with you. Almost a 20-minute interview, and if we take nothing else away from it, which we do, but if we didn't, we at least take this away: never tweet during the ball game. Right, Jim?
Matt, I promise you that I've fallen on that sword before, and I thought I would never do it again, but I did it again, and it was horrible.
Hey, we live and we learn.
Yep.
That's great. That's good. We can laugh about it. Hey, Jim, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it very, very much. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon, buddy. Bye.
All right. That's Jim Dunaway.